Caner Universe and followers of the Cane Fist Way, welcome to another segment of American Cane Boxing. That's the series that we're covering, and today we're going to be looking at and answering why would you even train? What's all this that's going on with the two canes in American cane boxing, and we're going to take a look at the value of doing that. But before you forget, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss anything. And you have a free resource. Text, write this number down, 305-745-7839, and text the letters CCC for your no-cost cane clarity call, where we will sit down, have a conversation, and you'll have an exact blueprint as to how to get started without wasting any time and funds on cane self-defense training. That's something that we do for you. So this is the American cane, a boxing cane, very specific for that ACB close quarter curriculum that functions through here. And you'll see that in training, we're hitting bags and we're moving around, sparring from here to here, just like a boxer. We're jabbing and cutting, and from here you can maneuver and jab to the body and to the head and cross it up. Why would you do this? What are the chances you're going to be hanging around with two canes? Well, in actuality, it's not about the two canes. It's when you're training empty hand, you're training both, and yes, you would, but the body and the brain specifically works best and more efficient and more economical when you can do both. We don't have the luxury of saying, hey, Mr. Criminal, right-handed, so only this side or this side. If we can go ahead and put it together, there's a whole nother concept here, and that is the concept of the cane and secondary tool, and I'll show you what we mean in a minute. But also know that there is a direct carryover effect of training. Those of you that are in martial arts, for instance, we get a lot of martial artists following what we're doing here. You know that when you're training with a tool and you set down that tool, it tends to make your empty hand skill set better. And American Cane Self-Defense certainly has that built into it. But what are we talking about when we're talking about a secondary tool? So, hey, what about a blade, right? If you're carrying a blade, or this is another stick, and this is my primary tool, but then all of a sudden I do have access to something else, and it might not be something like a machete or a bolo, but maybe like me, you're always carrying. This is one of Grandmaster Bram Frank's tools, a great friend, and I'm a big fan of the work and a student of it, but I'm always carrying one. And so as a secondary tool, now you know how to use and lead with that longer tool, and you have something that's shorter. You may find yourself with a blade in your hand, or it may be an impact tool as well, but you're able to fend somebody off that way. And so here he comes, hold that up, with something similar. And boy, I didn't have a lot of a chance to go in here and lift and come up, right? I didn't have that chance, but I was able to pull, and I'm not gonna, but this, by the way, opens, it's beautiful. It opens kinetically once it makes contact. That's how it opens, and I'm not gonna do it here. That's just the rule. No live blades on the training floor. But he comes in here, and listen, I don't want any trouble. It's a simple draw for me with the spoon clip to go from here to here, knock that down, and then get to work here, right? And I can use it in a less than lethal way of doing that, or tag see you only, and go from there. But I'm using my hands together much as I would regardless of what I might have in my hands at that moment. What about when you need an empty hand skill set? Let me point something out. You may be carrying your keys, you carry your wallet, maybe you carry a knife like that, like I do, you carry a firearm. And you're going to make up your mind before you leave the house, and just as a matter of, this is just the way you do things, you decide what goes where the keys go, where that knife is going to go, where that gun is going to go. So there's no guesswork under the stress and duress of the moment. It just becomes second nature. That's what you do over and over. I've demonstrated many times the whole concept of, and particularly for concealed carriers with a firearm, when you run into the situation where all of a sudden he puts this on you right here, guys, I can't go here and draw. How many times have you seen me demo that? And whether I have the cane, I'm also not going to say, wait, let me set this cane down. That's not the way it works. This thing has to work as an asset. See that, thank you for letting me off the hook there, because I'd be getting cut. But you see that palm rest? You got to keep it real simple. I'm going to have to clear this weapon, and it's done this way. And instructors, you can have even your smallest, physically, your instructors, and say, go ahead, Kiko, cut me again, and because I'm holding it to my center, it's just not going to happen. But look at the palm rest there, get to work, and he's already tapping. So you create space, back off, creating space to then draw that secondary, down, do it now, right, with the strong verbals. So again, you have to work that way and train that way, because you're going to fight the way you train. And so when people see all this type of maneuvering and they say, well, that's just fancy stuff, and being able to move from here, and do this, you wouldn't do that in a fight. You're missing the point again. It's not that I would do that in a fight. It's just the neuromuscular pathways that it's creating, because I don't have to I don't have to be looking at what it is I'm going to draw, right? So I'm fighting here, and it's already drawn, and it allows you, this is how the body works best. Same thing if you need that empty hand skill set. So I might be dealing here, but what about this free hand? What about the free hand? Right? So if I'm over here and I listen, man, I don't want any trouble. He shoots that straight shot. Well, there's the hand coming in for it. Do you see how I positioned the cane before? Maybe as he's throwing, it's this tap to the knee. As he's throwing, cuts that momentum. And then it allows me to go ahead and take control, right? And go ahead and do my lock, knee him and knock him down. And oh, by the way, he has a knife in that other hand. So, but it works so much better when you can transfer the skill set from one to the other and just get used to whatever it is you have in your hand, making sure that these things don't get in the way of each other. It's not a hindrance. How do I use it as an asset so that I can do the exact same thing here? By the way, all these skill sets, you have a firearm and you put one here, demonstrated this. I'm sorry because this is not a drone, so I'm sorry. I'm going to try to be but down. You've seen this over and over. That's a neuromuscular exercise that needs to be practiced over and over, right? And so you're using both hands. If I have nothing, right now, what do I do? And he comes from behind. With that knife. Now what do I do? Because I don't have the cane and I don't have the gun, but go ahead, cut me, Kiko. He can try and turn the whole thing. No. Right? You have to have that ability to disarm and go. And so it is, right? It's a very efficient way of training both sides. All right, so thank you guys. And that's why we do that. It's not with the expectation that you're going to be hanging around with two boxing canes. Although we do have students that do, out of necessity to ambulate, they use both. And so the training fits in there perfectly. And again, how do you learn this? Where do you start off? We're having the American Cane Boxing Certification here February 16th through the 19th. Miami again in phase 3. We're limiting it to a fraction of what we normally allow for everyone's comfort, everyone wearing masks other than for eating and drinking. And if you have questions about that, you can give us a call at the headquarters. But let's do this. A text again, you have a free resource. I don't know if that immersion training here in Miami February is right for you. I don't know that. There's very limited spots. But how do you get started, right? If it's not that, how do you get started? Go ahead and text the letters CCC again to 305-745-7839. We always love talking to you. So reaching out, 800-289-8188. Give us a call and you'll actually walk out with a written blueprint as to what to do first. And that includes conversations about canes, about how to organize your training, what's the best way, and tailor to your needs. All right, guys, thank you as always for watching. Keep caning and stay safe.